Hey there, good people, clock lovers, music lovers, and fine arts enthusiasts. Hey, I just got back with the wife. We were out Christmas shopping and grocery shopping all day. And you know what? I tried not to make it about me, but I'll show you what I drug home today. Just hang in there. Don't go away. Now let's sneak into the workshop here, see what we got going on this fine evening. I don't know if I'll get this whole project done tonight, but let me get some light on this. Found this ornate clock at Twice Treasured out in Plymouth. Bought a clock from the lady a few weeks back, and we was out there looking around. They have a lot of crafts and Christmas stuff out there, and the wife wanted to stop in, and I was nosing around. I found this old clock, and I had second thoughts about it. Had a price tag of 30 bucks on her, and it was marked down 20%, so I got out the door with about $22. It's not really my kind of clock. I kind of like wood clocks and everything. Also, I like to steer clear of balance wheel clocks, which this is a balance wheel clock. It doesn't run. One thing that's wrong with it, the first thing I noticed is wrong with it, it's got a good spring, but as you can see, the click ratchet, something's goofed up there, and I bet this thing hasn't ticked in 50 years or maybe even more. There's about 3 service marks out here. Let's see if you can see these. Let me get it up into the light. I don't know if you can even see any of that or not. But anyway, I'll point them out. There's 1 here, 2 here. One is from 1909. I think one is from 1906, one's 1907. And here's the patent date right here. And it's October 28, 1902. So this is an old clock right here, early 1900s. And I'm so glad that somebody didn't get a hold of this clock and go down to the Ace Hardware and buy some Krylon gold leaf paint and paint this thing. It's the way a clock ought to look right there. Now, see that part right there, a little blemish right there? I might just take a Q-tip and a little gold paint, and I might just kind of go over that a little bit. Also, the dial is messed up on it. It's the face is all curled up and everything. I'm gonna have to deal with that. 2 things: either I'm gonna get it laying flat and glue it onto a back surface, or I'm going to take it down to Staples and I'm going to make a color copy of that and put that in there. One or the other. But I'm thinking, once I get this clock apart and get this thing to wind, I probably can clean and oil this movement and it'll probably take off. If it doesn't, I'm done with it, because working on a balance wheel clock is beyond my pay grade right there. I've got a few of them right here, as you can see. That little Gilbert on the bottom there, that's been a thorn in my side for years. That square celluloid, same thing. Those 2 small celluloids right there, they run, but the hands don't move. Now that one in the middle, she runs good. It's not because of me. The alarm clocks right there, the 2 square ones, are probably from the 20s. All I did was take those apart and oil them, and by the grace of God, they run. Same thing with that square one in the middle. That's an Ansonia, and by the grace of God, I got that one to run, and it's from 1927 as far as I know. But okay, we'll see. We'll take this apart. We'll take the back off, take the movement out, see if I can't fix that click ratchet, see if I can oil it up or clean it up, take that face out of there, see if I can straighten that up. Touch this up just a little bit. I'm not spray painting it, you know. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I call this an ugly clock. Some people might call it a beautiful clock. Maybe it'll grow on you. I don't know. Maybe it's an acquired taste. But I like wood clocks and simple things. This one here is pretty ornate, but hey, for 24 bucks, what do you want? We're going to give it a run. Hang in there. Oh, I got the movement out, but I still got to get the back off so I can see about that click ratchet, or see what holds this thing. This just came out. I took those screws out, but I really didn't even have to take the screws out. See where the little screws went in there? So I don't know what the heck was anchoring the movement into the clock right there. I'm sure it was a part before. I can see kind of grease marks and stuff inside here. And we'll see about maybe warming this up and doing something there. Pull the hands off and get that going. But I got to work on getting this plate off the back here, which means I have to hold this spring right here somehow and turn this counterclockwise and see if I can get that off to get this out of the way. And then we'll see if we can go from there. I bet you I can get this to run though, God willing. All right, I got the back plate off of it, as you can see. Didn't as long as I grabbed that that bell right there that goes around the spring, and this came right off. This pulled right off. And if we get some light on here, if you can see those little teeth right there, that would be your click ratchet. There's a spring right there. So I've got to figure out what's missing, where that spring goes, what the heck happened. If I can get that back in here and lube this up, I think it's going to be a good one. Haven't looked yet to see what the maker is, if there's any marks on this movement or whatever, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled and see if I can't figure out. I'd like to guess Ansonia because they made a lot of ornate clocks like that back in the day, but we'll see. Hey, since I started editing this video, I got a bit of an update on this clock that I'm working on. I thought at first it was an Ansonia, but I posted a couple of pictures on vintage and collectible clocks on the Facebook page, and one of the members, Mike W., sent me a brochure. And it turns out that this clock was made by the Western Clock Company, and the model of the clock is the Imperial. And the Western Clock Company, they're from LaSalle, Illinois, and they are actually the West Clock Company. West Clock was in business for a long time. I didn't even realize that they manufactured such a clock as this one here. I was more familiar with the Big Ben and the alarm clocks and the clocks like that, and some of the dollar pocket watches were West Clock too. And those are pretty cool to get because you get one of those, they run forever. And I mean, I remember as a kid buying those at a drugstore for like $1 something and keeping it in my pocket, and it always run, you know. But anyway, that's a little update on this video. So hey, I'll let you get back to the video, and hey, if you got time, hey, run get some coffee. Get some coffee. It's towards evening. Hey, you know what? Here, let me share this with you. I have rediscovered Diet Right Cola. I'm a type 2 diabetic, and I drink a lot of Diet Pop, probably more than I should. And I saw this at the store one day, and it was calling my name. It's right next to the RC because it's an RC product, I guess. And I come to find out, no caffeine, and it's got Splenda and it's sucralose. It's good stuff. I would have never bought it, but yeah, you know, there you are. All right. Oh, I'm still looking at this movement. I think there's something missing that was the click ratchet on this. I think the spring we were looking at before, I think this spring, it just puts tension on this barrel right here. I think what we need went here, right here. And it was a spring that probably clipped on this and went here, and it flew off. It's not with the clock. I got these old, this is a kind of a spring metal I've got. It was a kit to fix a spring on a Waterbury clock. In fact, I used something else. But this part right here, let me get close. Right there on my finger with this lip right here with this flat part, I think I can cut that off and fabricate something to go in this slot right here so it catches those teeth right there. I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. If this doesn't work, you'll never see this video. But if it does work, I'll be patting myself on the back. I'm going to tell you that right now. Also with the dial, I took my heat gun, Well, actually, it's my wife's hair dryer. And I warmed that face up. It wouldn't be a plastic, not back then, but a celluloid type material. And it started laying flat. And when it started laying flat, I kind of concocted a way of holding it down. And I'll leave that sit like that for a while. Then I'll go around it and kind of put a little bit of glue here and there around the outside. But you got to be careful when you glue things like this, because this is paper underneath here and it'll seep through and you'll see the spots. But I got some pendulums on top of that. Should be pretty heavy. Let that sit. That'll be the last thing I do right there. I'll let it set for a while, see what happens. I hate to try to use another face because that's a really nice part of the clock right there. All right, I devised a little spring to go to this click ratchet. If you can see right there. It's going to hit the teeth right there. It's a little piece of spring metal. It's going to spring way back here, and you don't know why. Probably don't want to know why. You probably don't even want to know why I've got this clamp on here. But temporarily, I put a little super glue right here, and I'm going to let that dry for a while. Then I'm going to bond that right to where the hole is, and it'll give it about a quarter of an inch to spring up. And hopefully when I get done, you won't even be able to tell I did anything to it. But I'm pretty sure there was a little clip or something that went right here, a little piece of spring metal that went right there. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but that's what it looks like to catch that spring. But I think with this method here, we'll be okay. God, I hate to show you that. Looks. I hope a clock repairman didn't see that. All right, let's see if we can make this thing run. This is the part I made right here. It's not a big deal, really. It's a piece of spring metal with a flat end. I bent it down so it comes up against this tooth right here, as you can see. And I did check it to make sure that we get out of the way. The metal will spring from here to here, but we got to let this. This is JB Weld. We'll let this dry for a few hours. Make sure I super glued that. What I did is super glued that to the frame of the movement of the clock, so it would stay in one place. Then I went ahead and added this here. Now when this dries, what I'll do is I'll take a Q-tip and a little gold paint, and I'll go over that and paint it so it doesn't look so auspicious, I guess you'd say. But I think there was a part here somewhere that caught that, and it's long gone. So I think this will work. And I went ahead and oiled the movement up. The clock dial's coming out pretty good. It's starting to straighten up and everything. So maybe we'll have a nice clock out of this. All right, I was able to touch this up. I took a little real extra fine steel wool and some glass cleaner and lightly went over this. Then wiped it down with a paper towel. Then that spot, I can't even remember where it was. It was up in here somewhere. There was I think it was right here. I took a little Q-tip and some gold leaf paint, just touched that up, you can't even tell, and cleaned it up pretty good. I took a little gold leaf paint and covered up my repair on this, and I'm gonna give that another hour or so and let that set and harden. Then I'm gonna try to wind it and see what happens. Also got the clock face is I got it glued down, used some Elmer's, went around the base of that with a Q-tip, made sure I didn't get it too wet so it didn't bleed through the paper, and I devised myself a little press here. I got a jar full of pendulums right here, and we'll see if that'll lay flat for us. Okay, also while we're waiting for the clock dial glue to dry and that little repair to set up right there in the clock movement, I wanted to, in some of my other videos I told you, if you're ever working on an old clock, look it over real good. I I showed you this. This has 3 dates on it where the guy repaired the clock. I think it was 6, 7, and 9 or something like that. And it's kind of interesting. Also, let me show you this clock right here. Okay, this is one of my OG clocks. This is a Chauncey Jerome, about from the 1840s. And as you can see, I changed the glass tablet. The old glass tablet is still in there. It's actually right here. The old glass tablet is right here. I sandwiched, this is actually a canvas portrait, sandwiched in between 2 pieces of glass, one glass being the old glass tablet, which is right here. And actually that was the president's house, or said the president's house, so maybe it was Mount Vernon, I don't know. Well, anyway, get to the point of this rambling story. When I was working on it, right here along this molding right here, in pencil, it's written H. Hall, January 2nd, 1867. And obviously the clock was serviced by Mr. Hall in 1867. So, you know, things like that are really interesting. You get an old clock, look it over. They used indelible pencils back then. And if you look close, you may be able to find a little bit of a history of the clock. Okay, as you can see, I've got this movement running. The little click ratchet I made right here out of the spring metal is holding the spring. It goes back here. I bent it at a right angle, stuck it in a hole right there, so it's really not pushing on this JB weld right here. And it's catching this. And I wound it tight, and it seems to be working, and it's running. And look at her go. You know, I had to help it along a little bit at first because it was pretty stiff. But I'd sure like to know the last time this clock ever ran. It could have been 60 years ago. Could have been, who knows, 60, 70 years ago. Who knows how long this has been broken, how long this has been up in a shelf or whatever. It's a nice clock. It's not really for me, but I'm going to get it together and let's see what the dial's starting to look like here. Dial's laying flat. I think that's going to work out for us. All right. And also, hold on one second. You may hate to see this, but I showed you this in the video earlier, this clock. And you know what? This clock has been a thorn in my side since I've had it. It ran for a while and then it didn't. Now it's a barometer. I had this barometer part that I found over at the antique shop and went ahead and installed that. So that's going to be my barometer down here. And I won't have to make that run. Let's see what it says. It's snowing outside right now. It's heading towards change. Look at that. And so am I. All right, I got it all together. It's running. Oh, that's not the right time on there. I got it at 9:15. Let's move the time here. Oh God, it's 11 o'clock. Listen to all these clocks going. Hope the hands don't fall off. Okay. Put it on 11 o'clock right there. And I think she turned out pretty good. You can hear it ticking. Got the old dial straightened up. Used a little heat, little Elmer's glue. This clock goes together kind of strange. All it does is it's like a can. It goes on here. And, well, there you have it. I can't tell you what kind of clock it is. Maybe an Ansonia. I could tell you it was patented or made maybe in 1902. It was worked on 3 times, serviced. I think it was 6, 7, and 9. I think that's what I said. And so it's an oldie. You're looking at a clock 120 years old right there.